Hello there, everyone. This is Josh Schweinsberg coming to you fresh from Quebec, Canada. So I was just sitting there wondering, have you ever wondered why uh, people in certain areas of the world are so darn good at certain things? Like why are Jamaicans so fast? Why are Germans so good at engineering feats? Why are the Japanese so far ahead in technology? And why are Canadians so good at hockey? That's what we're going to talk about today. Why the heck are those Canadians so good at slinging this puck than the rest of the world? And that's what I'm going to tell you about, okay? So, as a hockey player, as a Canadian family member, and an avid traveler of the vast spaces of the Canadian Great White North, I'm going to tell you the many reasons why Canadians are just the best players at hockey in the world. So, like it or not, Canada is hockey. It's a notion that cannot be ignored. When you hear Canada mentioned, your mind immediately associates hockey to the country as one and the same. For example, if I hear France, I immediately think of technical cooking and some beignets. I hear German, I associate some engineering. And you hear ice, you think hockey. And Canada is full of ice. There are just too many reasons that attribute to the prominence of this sport for the Canadian people. It's a way of life embedded in the cultural fabric of the winter wonderland of the Great White North. Now, people are passionate about a plethora of things around the world, okay? The topics are endless. You could possess a passion for designing. You could love watching the expression on someone's face after you've taught them something. That "I get it" expression from your astute pupil that you're teaching. The key aspect to note is that everywhere, for an enormous amount of activities and cultures, hockey is just the passion of Canada. It's what they thrive on, and it still exists today. Okay? So now that I've made this bold statement of Canada is hockey, I'm going to explain to you unequivocally why it's so. Okay? So the amount of factors compelling in this argument of who does it best in the world per capita, per se, is some of the biggest deciding factors in the statistical, geographical, and cultural impetus, leaving any reasonable doubt recanted. Okay, so the first point here, hockey, fact, originated in Canada. The first organized game happened in Montreal, Canada, 1875. So they're the first ones to actually, it's in the record books, it happened. In the first organized indoor rink meeting for hockey game, 1875. Okay? The greatest player of all time is from Canada, Wayne Gretzky. He has the most records of any player, 61 records. Nobody else comes close. And another point here is, to this day, over 50% of the players are Canadian in the NHL. And that is 2.5 times the amount of Americans playing in the NHL. And Canada is 1/10 of the population of America. So you get a lot more hockey for how few people there are there. And the second, one of the biggest reasons that Canadians are so well versed in hockey is the ability to have ice year round, all year round. Climate, it's a major key here, major key. There's a ridiculous amount of public open ice to the open air rinks. This isn't expensive or cost prohibitive to go to an ice rink where you're having to pay $12 every time you want to just get some ice time. So it's public ice and naturally available because of the climate of the entire Canadian region. And here's another little fact here. According to the International Ice Hockey Federation, there were 5,000 public outdoor rinks in 2018 and 35 100 indoor ice rinks. And this doesn't include the number of Canadians that simply flood their backyards and make their own ice. This practice is very common. According to a personal friend up in Quebec City, he floods his backyard very easily with just a hose, and all his neighbors do it. Every last one of his neighbors do it. And a huge portion of people just have ice in their backyard. And just to put in perspective the amount of outdoor ice available in Canada, at 5,000, okay? The next, that's just the public ice. But the next country to have the second most, if you could take a guess, it probably is, but the fact is it is Russia, and they only have 2665, so just over half of what there is in Canada. So in comparison to the country size and the population, that's staggering. So 30.7 million people in Canada, and 9 people approximately per square mile, which is the lowest in the world. Russia comes from approximately 144 million in 2018, and that's 23 people per mile in 2018. So the major point here is there's a lot more ice and a lot less people and a lot more playing surface to population ratio for Canada, okay? So as you can imagine, the natural advantages for Canada to be so great at hockey, they're just astounding. If you have a nation that's able to skate on demand in their own backyards, they possess the marginal advantage over any other nation. The only thing left in question is the difference, like the two top countries, Russia and Canada. Russia has the same climate as Canada. They have arguably more, they could have more icy climate. So, yet there's still nearly double the open spaces to skate in Canada. And this, in my mind, is because the passion for the game that sets them apart from their other cold climate counterparts, okay? Canadians are just so passionate about their hockey because it's just a way of life there. It's broadcasted year-round hockey on the TV, radio, everything. There's multiple networks that dissect every aspect of the sport year-round. Even when hockey's over for the year, hockey is on public television with a focus on children's games up to all levels to the professional level. So as an example, I was just up there watching regular TV, and they had mites, which are 8-year-olds just playing on public television. They made it onto TV, and it's on. Games are on all day. They love it up there. And why would a country be able to do this? Play it on television all the time? Because of the ratings. The ratings are over the top for people watching hockey. Olympics, everything. Just watch the graph of how many Canadians are watching hockey and watching their countrymen play. They support it very much. So basically, from the birthplace of hockey to the supreme natural climate, to the passion of people supporting it, to the proof of the greatest players in the world coming from the same place, the evidence is too compelling that per capita, the amount of ultra high level people playing in the sport of hockey proves that Canadian hockey just goes hand in hand with hockey. Canada hockey, same thing. Okay? That's what you think of when you think of Canada. So I would say that if you're interested in hockey, Canada's the best place to get into it, by far. If you wanted your son or daughter to grow up playing hockey or wanting them to go pro or anything like that, the best chance they would have is just to go to Canada. You cannot avoid the thought of hockey when you hear Canada. It's too much of a part of the culture to deny. It's part in the cultural fabric of Canada. Hockey is a great identity for Canadians. It's a positive impact on the world, and I'm glad that our friendly neighbors to the north have given us this amazing gift and the undeniable levels of play that we get to watch them time and time again. Thanks so much.